When I first started in the gaming space, the space did not exist at all. So we had to pioneer everything. Lived part of my time in the Caribbean and part of my time up in Vancouver, and if it all worked out, by the end of the day, I'd maybe have $1 million or so.
I'm joined now by the man that needs no introduction, Calvin Ayre, founder of Ayre Group and Bodog Entertainment brand, and also CoinGeek. Great to have you here.
Thank you, happy to be here.
It's great to talk to you, and there's so much that I want to jump in and discuss as well, because I think from looking at the work that you've done from the iGaming space, now involvement into cryptocurrency, even the events that you used to put on as well, how would you describe what you've created?
Well, I started out, my plan really was just to have a good life, and I thought I'd live part of my time in the Caribbean and part of my time up in Vancouver, and if it all worked out, by the end of the day, I'd maybe have $1 million or so, and it certainly turned into something a lot bigger than that. It's I've evolved it into something like a multinational conglomerate now.
It's incredible, and I think when a lot of people look at your journey, I think first of all to understand, how did the iGaming and the gaming space look before Bodog came into play?
The space itself, well, it didn't exist. I mean, there was not, well, Bodog was a brand actually, but when I first started in the gaming space, the space did not exist at all. So we had to pioneer everything. We had to decide where we could set up, how the laws would work, how the laws that existed would apply to what we were trying to do, where we would physically put pieces of stuff so that we wouldn't get in trouble because it's gambling. And of course, there was no technology, so we had to build everything from scratch. Yeah, so it was, there was basically nothing.
Was there a eureka moment where you suddenly realized that actually the gaming industry is perfectly suited to the internet?
Absolutely, yeah. I was reading a newspaper at my existing business, which was in the tech sector. It was a technology incubator, which had internet companies, and I was actually looking for a project to launch on the internet, and I knew, since I didn't have a lot of money then, I knew I'd have to raise money, so I was looking for that project that would be like the project that would need no introduction kind of thing, with people, well, yeah, of course, that's going to make money. And then I read this article about a guy named Ron Sacco, who was running a sports betting operation out of the Dominican Republic, and he was doing it over the phones, and that was just lights on. I'm like, that would work perfect on the internet. So then I'm like, well, how the heck was this going to work? So, because I had to build my own software then. So I put some people together that had various pieces of the information I needed, and yeah, here I am.
So some of the key elements of the success of Bodog, was it the kind of the core team, the idea and the process?
Wow, there was a lot of different ingredients in the secret sauce. I don't think there's any one thing. If you had to put your finger on the one thing that everybody looking at it would think was the thing, would be the branding. We were very good at branding, and more so, a lot of the other people that started in the early days came in with a background in software or like illegal sports betting or something, but none of them really were branders. So we were the first, I think, to really get the branding idea and concept right. And that was one of the things that really took us off. But honestly, you have to get a lot of things right. It was complicated, especially since there was no model back then. We had to pioneer the whole model ourselves.
And lead the way, really, as well, essentially. If we look now at today and how things are looking, if we look at Bodog as a monster brand, are you still involved in the day-to-day activities of Bodog, or is it more like Bitcoin SV?
Actually,
CoinGeek?
I do not have any gaming operations anymore. I'm completely out of that. My day-to-day focus is on cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, which is BSV, the Satoshi Vision. But I still own a brand, so I license it out. And the Bodog brand that you see out on the internet right now today is actually a brand licensing deal. Wow. And I'm actually thinking of starting another Bodog named business actually in Antigua. Bodog Beach is what I want to call it. It'll be, I'm renaming my beach club there.
Okay, well, if there's a launch party, you're going to have to let us know.
There will be a party, that's for sure.
Of course, what would Calvin ever be without a party?
See you at the after party.
All right.
So if we look at Bitcoin SV, would you say that iGaming is the first vertical that could really potentially adopt fully Bitcoin SV?
When Craig invented Bitcoin, he was actually in the gaming sector and was working for a number of companies in Australia. And part of his concept was to solve the solution of how people can easily get money in and out of the gaming companies. So cryptocurrency and Bitcoin was invented for gaming, and the solution for gaming is really only the original model, which is Bitcoin SV, because of scaling. Any online gaming operator that wants to be successful has to be able to operate an enterprise level gaming operation. And in order to do that, you have to scale enterprise level, and the only technology of its type in the world today that scales enterprise levels is Bitcoin SV, which is the original version of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was designed as an economic model that was where the code forced the economic model to stay in place. So if you change the code, it changes the economic model, and it's not Bitcoin anymore. And that's why these people that are trying to improve Bitcoin are having trouble with it, because they're not understanding the economic principles behind it, and they keep tripping themselves in being able to scale. So nobody's been able to get the scaling right except Craig and Bitcoin SV.
How long do you think it will take before we do see mass adoption globally among regulators in iGaming?
Well, mass adoption is a tougher question, but it's happening right now. Adoption is happening. There's a company called BitBoss that I'm going to be, they're speaking at my conference, which is coming up in a couple weeks now in Seoul. And they've got a technology which is completely on the Bitcoin SV blockchain. And they use Bitcoin SV, they use the tokenized technology, which is also open source, on top of Bitcoin SV, which I actually funded. And they've got a bunch of games that work right now, and your information gets stored right back onto the blockchain, you get paid out, and the whole thing is basically run on the blockchain. And so it's happening right now. And I personally predict that that's the future of online gaming.
How important is it for entrepreneurs and investors that do want to be involved to understand about the changes when it comes to cryptocurrencies, which is still evolving, and even medical marijuana, which is something which a lot of investors are looking to turn their attention to now?
Definitely catching a wave is simpler than trying to perfect or add some kind of advantage to a mature industry where people have had a long time to think about it. So there's a lot more opportunity, there's less barriers to entry when you're talking about new industries, but it's still going to be a lot of hard work. I mean, basically that's what it is. You got to get up every day and sacrifice 12 hours a day. But yeah, if you can spot a trend, then get in there before there's much competition, then clearly that's going to be advantageous. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Calvin, thank you so much. It was great to catch up and talk to you and understand your journey as well. So thank you for taking the time to talk with me today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much as well.
Thank you. Well, that's all from us. We'd love to hear how you found this segment. So drop us a comment in the comment box below.